The film opens with an on-screen introduction that gives viewers a brief history lesson. It explains that as far back as 2300 BC, there were records of a terrifying condition known as hydrophobia, where infected creatures would violently react to the presence of water. The message goes on to warn that if the infection isn't treated within the first 2 days, survival becomes almost impossible. In modern times, this condition is more commonly known by its Latin name, rabies. We then cut to a quiet but unsettling moment inside a zoo, where a veterinarian makes his way through the animal enclosures to administer medication to a creature that has been acting strangely. However, when he reaches the enclosure, something feels off. The animal he was meant to treat is nowhere in sight. Assuming the animal is simply hiding out of fear, the vet cautiously approaches a nearby shelter, attempting to coax it out. But what follows is far from routine. Without warning, the missing animal launches a vicious ambush, turning the situation deadly in a matter of seconds and ending the veterinarian's life in a shocking and brutal attack. Back in the present day, the story shifts to a young woman named Lucy as she boards a plane, casually video calling her sister. During the call, she repeatedly asks her sister to come pick her up at the airport once she lands, mentioning that she'll be arriving with a couple of friends. After ending the call, Lucy settles into a seat beside her close friend Kate. Not long after, another friend named Hannah unexpectedly joins them on a flight. From their reactions, it's pretty clear that Lucy and Kate aren't exactly thrilled about her being there, but they go along with it anyway. Following the long journey, the trio finally touch down at their destination, where they're greeted by a man named Nick. He takes responsibility for driving the 3 women to where they'll be staying. When they arrive, the film introduces us to Lucy's father, Adam, who is in the middle of a business discussion. It's during this moment that we learn Adam is unable to speak. Lucy soon walks over to her father, and through sign language, he asks her how her exams went. As they continue talking, Kate steps in and introduces both herself and Hannah, explaining that they're visiting to keep Lucy company. Nick also joins the conversation and greets Adam, who then asks him about his girlfriend. Nick reveals that they've broken up, prompting Adam to jokingly sign to Lucy that this could be her opportunity, but Lucy quickly brushes it off with a different explanation. As Nick heads out, Adam lets Lucy know that there's someone else waiting to see her. As Lucy prepares to step away, her father gently lets her know that he's sorry for being in and out of her life. He says he's happy she's finally home, but explains that work will soon take him away again, though only for a few days. Lucy reassures him that she understands. Lucy then goes to see her younger sister, Erin. Their reunion is tense at first, as Erin clearly holds resentment toward Lucy for leaving when she was much younger. After some emotional back and forth, the sisters eventually manage to put their past issues aside and make peace. Moments later, we're introduced to the family's pet monkey, Ben, who excitedly rushes over the moment he sees Lucy. Lucy proudly brings Ben to meet her friends, instantly freaking them out at first. However, once Lucy explains and properly introduces him, their fear quickly turns into curiosity, and they warm up to him. Later that night, Kate is shown wandering around the house when Nick shows up and strikes up a conversation with her. During their talk, Kate asks about Lucy's mother, and Nick explains that she passed away. He reveals that Lucy's mom was a scientist who specialized in animal behavior, and it was her research that led her to bring Ben into the family. As the conversation continues, a subtle romantic spark begins to form between the two. Later on, Hannah decides to wander off on her own, heading deeper into the underground section of the building. While exploring, she stumbles upon an indoor pool and pauses, clearly impressed by what she's discovered. As she sits nearby, the mood suddenly shifts when she notices Ben standing still, silently staring at the water while making unsettling noises. Before Hannah can react, Ben suddenly lunges forward and aggressively grabs her. Luckily, Adam arrives just in time and firmly calls Ben off, stopping the situation from getting any worse. He then reassures Hannah, brushing it off by explaining that Ben sometimes acts strangely around people he isn't familiar with. Afterward, Adam takes Ben back and secures him inside his cage. While doing so, he notices something disturbing nearby, what appears to be remains of an animal. When Adam questions Ben about whether he had gotten into a fight with a neighboring animal, Ben reacts innocently, as if denying it. Still suspicious, Adam checks Ben more closely and spots traces of blood on his body. Despite this alarming discovery, Adam simply locks the cage and walks away. The following day, Adam brings a sealed package to Lucy and the others. He explains that inside is the body of a mongoose that somehow wandered into Ben's enclosure, and that Ben had attacked and killed it. As the day goes on, the girls continue enjoying themselves, and once they're done swimming, they sit together to chat and unwind. During the conversation, Lucy starts to feel a bit uneasy when she notices how close Hannah and Nick are becoming. Trying to shift the attention, Lucy brings up the guys Hannah had met on the plane, reminding her that she mentioned liking one of them. Hannah agrees at first and makes the call, but quickly changes her mind and hands the phone to Lucy instead. Without overthinking it, Lucy takes over and invites the guys to come over. Later that night, Hannah opens up to Nick, admitting that she feels Lucy is putting in a lot of effort to impress him. Nick, however, brushes it off, explaining that he sees Lucy more like a younger sister. Not long after, Hannah and Nick end up sharing a quiet, intimate moment together, while Lucy watches from a distance. The story briefly jumps back to an earlier moment, showing the veterinarian arriving to examine Ben. Shortly after, we return to the present inside the house. Feeling thirsty, Kate heads out to get some water but suddenly notices a teddy bear lying on the floor. Thinking Hannah may have left it there, she walks closer, only to be startled when Ben suddenly appears and lets out an aggressive scream. Terrified, Kate runs into a nearby room and immediately calls Lucy, warning her that something isn't right with Ben. Lucy quickly goes looking for him but can't find him anywhere. However, she soon spots Ben's teddy bear, and when she moves closer, she notices blood stains on it that raise serious concern. Erin soon joins her, but before they can react, a loud scream echoes through the house. It's Hannah. Lucy and Kate rush over and manage to intervene, but it's clear Ben is behaving unusually and seems completely out of control. Nick suggests restraining him for everyone's safety. As Nick goes to find a rope, Ben suddenly turns aggressive toward him, but Lucy manages to calm Ben down momentarily, even hugging him in an attempt to soothe him. Once Nick returns, Lucy takes the rope and restrains Ben, but the situation quickly worsens as Ben becomes even more violent. Realizing things are spiraling, Erin urges Lucy to contact Adam or the veterinarian for help. Kate attempts to call the vet, only for them to hear his phone ringing nearby. That's when panic sets in, as they realize something has gone terribly wrong. Before they can react, Ben breaks free and attacks Erin, injuring her leg. The group manages to pull Erin away, but Ben continues to act relentlessly, leaving no one a chance to escape. Thinking fast, Nick tells everyone to get into the pool, knowing Ben can't swim. However, the urgency increases as Erin is bleeding badly, and they're now racing against time to get her medical help before the injury leads to something far worse. Ben remains on high alert, carefully watching the group and making sure no one gets away. This only fuels Nick's anger, and in a moment of desperation, he charges at Ben and shoves him over the edge of a nearby drop. Believing his plan has worked, Nick briefly smiles, thinking the threat is finally gone. However, his relief is short-lived. Ben attacks Nick and sends him over the edge instead, resulting in Nick's death. Ben then returns to the scene and mocking them with a laugh, as the others scream in terror. Amid the chaos, Lucy notices her phone lying dangerously close to Ben and carefully moves toward it. Just as she reaches it, the phone starts ringing, triggering another violent reaction from Ben. While the others distract him, Lucy quickly grabs the phone and rushes back into the pool. Once she's safe, they try calling for help, but the call connects to one of the guys Hannah met on the plane. Unfortunately, he's in a party setting and doesn't take their situation seriously, brushing it off as a joke. While they're still struggling to get through, Ben makes another move, using a rope stretched across the pool to grab Hannah by the hair. Thankfully, Lucy and the others act fast and manage to pull her free. In the struggle, however, the phone slips from Lucy's hand and sinks to the bottom of the pool, cutting off their only line of communication. Elsewhere, during Adam's meet and greet event, he receives an update from his veterinarian, Mary. She informs him that the mongoose Ben killed earlier has tested positive for rabies. Adam quickly dismisses the concern, insisting that rabies doesn't exist in Hawaii. Taking his reaction into account, Mary suggests the sample may have been contaminated and decides to run the test again to be sure. Growing uneasy, Adam tries calling Lucy, but his call goes unanswered. Back at the house, Lucy and Kate decide to head deeper into the building to look for a working phone. They eventually enter a room where they spot one, but as Lucy moves toward it, she accidentally steps on a remote control, creating noise that immediately draws Ben's attention. Panicking, the two rush to hide inside a wall drop. Ben arrives moments later, aggressively searching the area. Somehow they manage to avoid being discovered, at least for a brief moment. As Lucy steps out, Ben suddenly ambushes her from behind, knocking her down, but Kate quickly intervenes and pulls her away. They manage to trap Ben behind a glass door, hoping it will slow him down. Unfortunately, that doesn't stop him. Ben crashes through the barrier and continues chasing them. During the chaos, Kate is caught from behind and falls. Ben then grabs a stone and repeatedly strikes her while Lucy watches helplessly, screaming in horror. Afterward, Ben turns his attention back to Lucy and eventually catches her. In a desperate attempt to help, Hannah grabs a rope and throws it around Ben, trying to drag him toward the pool. Ben struggles violently and manages to break free once again. Meanwhile, Adam's worry reaches its limit. With no response from his children, he leaves his event and heads straight home. Back at the house, the guys Hannah met on the plane finally arrive, completely unaware that they've just walked into a deadly situation. As the two guys make their way through the house, Ben silently observes them from a distance. When one of them separates from the group, Ben suddenly ambushes him. The attack is swift and terrifying, ending with Ben cruelly mocking the victim by copying his sounds afterward. Meanwhile, the second guy manages to find Lucy and the others and tries to warn them. They urgently signal for him to stay quiet, but it's already too late. Ben leaves behind a horrifying clue from his friend, and as the guy stares at it in shock, Ben slowly approaches him. Taking advantage of the chaos, Hannah sneaks away to look for a phone and the car keys in hopes of escaping. She manages to get into a car, only to realize too late that it's the wrong one. Before she can react, Ben appears. In a panic, Hannah calls the police and tries to explain the danger, but she can't give a clear location. As the call continues, Ben begins tormenting her by repeatedly locking and unlocking the car. Moments later, he opens the trunk and attacks, tragically ending Hannah's escape attempt. Back inside, Erin's condition continues to worsen as she loses more blood from her injury. Lucy desperately searches the house for help, but in her panic, she steps on broken glass and cries out in pain. While she's trying to tend to her injury, Ben appears again. Just then, Adam finally arrives home, briefly distracting Ben. Adam enters the house and notices photos scattered across the floor, unaware that Ben is right behind him. Lucy tries to warn her father, but he doesn't hear her. Ben suddenly attacks Lucy and stops only to stare at her before charging again. A desperate fight for survival breaks out until Erin arrives and pulls Ben's attention away by confronting him herself. Now Lucy and Erin stand together, preparing to defend themselves. Elsewhere in the house, Adam discovers the destruction in Ben's room and immediately realizes something is terribly wrong. Ben then turns his focus back to Lucy, nearly overpowering her in the same brutal way as before. At the last second, Adam rushes in and blows a whistle, hoping to control Ben, but it has no effect. Ben attacks Adam, and the struggle becomes intense, with Adam clearly outmatched. Just when everything seems lost, Adam grabs a wine bottle, smashes it, and uses it to finally overpower Ben. The family reunites in an emotional embrace, believing it's finally over. But Ben suddenly gets back up and attempts one final attack, pushing Lucy toward the edge. Adam manages to save her, and Ben falls to his death. Not long after, police and paramedics arrive at the house, rushing Erin away for treatment. In the final eerie moment, Ben's toy, once used to communicate, begins repeating the word bad on its own, as if something unseen is still lingering. The movie then came to an end. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.